tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, May 20th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. We've been talking about the New York Pro all week long. So now that it's almost here, we figured it was time to ask one of those burning questions that's on everyone's mind, which is, can Blessing Awodibu put an encore performance together this weekend and deliver back-to-back wins for the first time in his career? Heading into the Indy Pro last weekend, we heard all sorts of reports about Blessing being in the best shape of his career. But the fact that he was able to exceed everyone's expectations, especially in a lineup of that caliber, speaks volumes about the level of preparation that he poured into his off-season. He spent 8 or 9 months listening to all of the criticism from the keyboard warriors about how he would never be an Olympia caliber athlete. And he found a way to use all that as fuel to put himself in this position. So if he can do it again and prove that he has what it takes to win at the premier shows on the schedule, I think it puts him in the driver's seat for the rest of the season and should give him a ton of momentum once he starts fully diving into his Olympia prep. If you're a fan of classic and men's physique, this should be a big weekend for you too, because we're about to see a lot of high-level talent on display. We haven't talked much about the classic physique lineup in New York heading into this weekend, but if you're looking for an early favorite, Alexander Westermeyer might be your guy. He caught everyone by surprise when he came out of nowhere to win the Pittsburgh Pro 2 weeks ago. And if you take a look at this lineup on paper, there's no reason to think that he can't do it again here if he shows up ready to go. And on the men's physique side of things, at this point, most of the pre-show buzz is surrounding Sadiq Hadzovic as he continues his quest to climb back up to the top of the mountain of the division. He was lights out in his big comeback win in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, and it looked like he's gotten sharper in every update that he's released since then. So you'd imagine that he's rolling in there with a full head of steam, ready to take care of business. And if he can go 2 for 2 in shows with that big of a platform, it should put him in a solid position to finish off strong down the back half of the schedule. On paper, the Bikini lineup this weekend in New York is one of the strongest that we've seen all year long. And there are a few big storylines to keep an eye on here that could impact how the rest of the season plays out. First and foremost, you have Lorelai Chapados looking to continue her blistering start to the season, because if she can get the job done here, it might be enough to make her an early favorite heading into the Olympia. But before she can do that, she'll have to contend with 2020 Olympia champ Janet Legg, who's making her first trip back to the stage in over a year. This lineup also features 2019 Olympia champ Elisa Piscini, former perennial Olympia contender India Paulino, and we're also going to see Jessica Nicole Dolius, who's been one of the most consistent athletes in the division all year long. So, there's a lot at stake here, and if you're a Bikini fan, you're going to want to stay glued to this one because it looks like you're going to see some serious fireworks. As far as this weekend's women's physique lineup is concerned, the only real question on most people's minds is whether or not we're going to see Natalia Coelho deliver an encore to her Pittsburgh Pro performance a few weeks ago, where she was absolutely dominant in her victory. For the last 2 or 3 years, Natalia's been pretty much, untouchable during the regular season. And given how dialed in she was for Pittsburgh, there's no reason to think she won't continue to keep that streak alive here. And if you're one of those wellness fans, you're probably tuning in this weekend to see if Sunny Andrews can find a way to secure back-to-back wins for the first time in her career. She finished 5th at the New York Pro last year and then went on to have an unbelievable run to end her contest season. And since she's already gotten off to a hot start with her win at the IFBB Pittsburgh Pro 2 weeks ago, Rocking up another win here could be huge for her in terms of sustaining that momentum. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.